To the weekly Switch Grocery Show. I'm so excited to be here. I'm here with Arash
Hello,
from
how's it going?
Shred Happens and Kaizen Food Company. And if you don't know me or you're watching this back later, I'm Neha. I'm the founder of Switch Grocery. We're an online grocery store in Canada that bring you foods like Kaizen that you don't find in your typical grocery stores. And every Tuesday I go live, we interview someone, I cook something or try to cook something and mess it up. But
That's what you're doing
today,
today, right? You're going to
I'm
be
not
cooking
doing it
something?
today. But today, this is one of our most anticipated shows because we've rescheduled this twice.
Yeah, and not just twice. I think we rescheduled it twice over like a 6-month period. So it's been six. I'd say we've been trying to do this for 6 months. Sounds a little bit more accurate than we rescheduled this twice.
Yeah, it's true. And today, I guess,
We're just
it's
back for
third
more.
time's a
It
charm.
looks like.
I'm welcoming everybody. Oh, Amanda's back. Guess who's back? Back again. So if you were watching, we actually just went live on Instagram, and now we are
You've got a
on.
dedicated crew.
I love our Tuesday night crew. Like I'm obsessed with Shalini and Amanda and Mark and
They're
everybody.
great. I am so
And
grateful for them.
they
They create.
love your recipes. They love you. So
Well, I love every time I see them. Hi, Jerry. Every time I see their recipes, I'm like, they make more pasta recipes and Kaizen recipes than I do. I got to keep up with them. So
it's true. It's true.
yeah,
Shalini made a Trini bake. I don't know if you remember
Mhm.
that. It was oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I was just,
yeah.
Shalini, I need that
And I
recipe
think
for our wedding.
she shares it with like the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of people that are like, hey, Shalini made this. So I'm a little disappointed that I haven't tried it yet. So hi, Carolyn.
Shalini, I gotta say that if I made Kaizen, I try to keep it for myself.
Yeah,
So I'm sorry, but
I
I
don't
just
blame you.
do.
That's okay. That's how I.
Thank you. I need the recipe for the rice. Everyone gets a piece. So today our show is I get to ask you 5 questions.
Okay.
And they're a little bit actually, because we don't have this 30-minute limit, I do have some questions for you at the end that are going to be a surprise.
Oh,
That
okay. I like
that I
surprise
haven't told
questions.
that I haven't told you yet. And hello from
Mhm.
Bermuda. Hello from Dallas, Texas. Well, this is amazing. I love this. Okay, so let's go from the top. Why did you start Kaizen?
Yeah. Great question. It was in 2018 and I was just kind of tired of all the low carb, high protein pasta alternatives that were available, right? They didn't scratch the itch. They didn't really give me that pasta experience, right? So I was doing a lot of zoodles. I was making, shirataki noodles, miracle noodles. And then some of the other like chickpea or lentil pastas that were out there were like still super high in carbs. And so I just thought to myself, there's got to be a way to make a better low carb pasta. And so my wife Madalena and I, we went to the grocery store, went to the international market. So if anyone from Cincinnati is watching, we went to Jungle Gyms, and we pretty much spent about 4 or 5 hours just kind of like going through every single aisle, looking for any ingredient we could use to make pasta. And we landed on almond initially. That was our first product that we launched back in 2019. It didn't really, do so well from a review standpoint. So we went back to the drawing board and we reformulated. We have Kaizen today. So it's been a pretty long journey, but it really started out of my own personal desire to have a better good for you pasta that was actually low in carb and high in protein.
Okay, so you went through so many failures. Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
Because I remember you telling me that there were 1-star reviews and
Oh,
two
it was
star
terrible.
reviews.
They weren't 1-star reviews and 2-star reviews. The review was like 1.3 out of 5. And I think, we thought with the almond pasta that people would kind of like look at it and say, oh yeah, I mean, it's like 3 net carbs. So, I've got to kind of manage my expectations a little bit more. And I think what we realized is that, we had a lot of work to do clearly on kind of creating a better pasta experience. And, you know, initially, um, it felt like a failure going through it, and certainly it was a failure. But I think looking back, like, it just all makes sense. It's all part of the process, right? I think anything that you set out to do, whether it's, on the personal and professional end of things, like, the beginning's going to be sticky, it's going to be muddy, and like, you've got to just put time and effort in. It's going to take some time. You're going to learn over time, and that's exactly what happened to us. So it kind of, like, in silo looks like a failure, but the reality is, like, it ended up becoming what it is today, and we wouldn't be here had it not been for that failure.
It's really great to hear you say that, because I don't think people realize when you put your heart and soul into something and you put it into the world and you get, just constructive criticism, at the
Yeah.
time, it's different from being in a job and getting constructive criticism, right? So I remember for SwitchGrocery, when we packed our first box, or the first 10 orders, we had a break. Normal. Now I know it's normal. But the customer was so angry, Arash, and they sent us this email and they were like, how dare you? My jar was broken. And I actually just crumbled into tears. And I turned 40. I started Switch when I was 7 years ago. So I was 33, and I'd worked in finance and accounting, but I still crumbled because it's so personal.
Yeah.
You're a really unique founder, that you have gone through a lot of these iterations and these failures publicly, right? You've put out this product into the world that you've kind of had feedback, and I know that that's what Kaizen means, continuous improvement, from what I
Right.
understand. How
Yeah.
did you how did you stomach that? Like,
Yeah.
how did you take that with your mental health?
It was really tough, and I'm glad you asked this, because I think, you know, initially with the almond launch, I thought I was on top of the world, right? Like, I launched it, and, I had the support from, I certainly my own following. It wasn't nearly this sizable as it is today, but, I had the support of a lot of, notable people in the, like, the low carb keto community when I initially launched it. And, I kind of felt like with the review, it was, again, I say this now, that it was great learning, that I wouldn't be here, when had it not been for my first experience. But going through it, it's tough, and I think it's keeping that mental agility and mental strength, and kind of really, faith as you're going through it, right? Because that's the toughest part. Like, a month after it, a year after it, 2 years after, things become clearer. But when you're going through it, it certainly doesn't feel like a learning opportunity. It feels like the worst thing. So, after the almond pasta, the initial product back in 2019, I was pretty, disappointed. I think it certainly impacted my creativity with what I do regularly on Tread Happens. It impacted, how I thought others perceived me. And so it was all in my head, right? And I think the biggest learning is, like, nobody cares about your, like, everyone's trying their best, right? But in my head, I thought, like, oh my God, everyone thinks he's a failure. And, like, even with the launch of Kaizen, I almost had this, like, chip on my shoulder, that I wanted to prove, like, this guy, I did it, and whatnot. But the reality is, I think everybody is focused on bettering themselves, improving where they're at, and getting better themselves. And I think, oftentimes we're really, really hard on ourselves, and we hold ourselves back, from achieving what we can do, versus just kind of, like, looking at a situation, learning from it, and moving on and focusing on the next goal.
I'm lost in your words, because that was very, very meaningful. Because sometimes I feel the same way as an entrepreneur, right? You get up and you're just like, I mean, right now you must just have an armor. So I feel like if you get an email from customer service, you're probably like, this is a piece of cake. Like, I got this.
Look, I believe it or not, like, for example, you mentioned something happening in transit, right? Like, my philosophy is, and there's certain people that, might take advantage of this, but if I get an email and something shows delivered, and they say, oh, it wasn't delivered, I'll send you a replacement, right? If you say, hey, I had a really nasty note over the weekend, I thought, it was really similar to the note you got, like, how could you guys do this? Like, yeah, I came, and it was, the pasta was crushed, and I think she expected me to say, sorry, just not my fault. But I replaced her order right away. She said, oh, should I send it back? I said, no, just, feel free to use it, discard it, or donate it. It was a pretty sizable order. and it's tough, but the reality is like those are the moments where you can kind of differentiate yourself as a a company, and that's what the customer is going to remember. Now, are there people that might take advantage of it? Of course, but I think most people are good and most people mean well and most people don't take advantage. And so to me, that's the opportunity as a company to leave a lasting impact and to create customers for life and just to do the right thing. So look, there's certainly moments, and luckily I have my wife Madalena who hears a lot of my complaints and whatnot and keeps me grounded. But I think you get to a certain point where you've just got to learn how to take things as they are and just move on and focus on the next point. That's what I try to remind myself, and it's a daily reminder, but to focus on the next point.
Yeah. And the next point is, hello, I've been wanting to try from Courtney. Let's talk about this gorgeous, beautiful pasta, which is so delicious that you've created. So maybe we can talk about your line and then kind of go into your tips for each one. So you've got fusilli, you've got the original line, the even fewer carbs, and then rice.
That's right.
Can we go through the three of them?
Absolutely. So our original pastas, they come in 3 shapes right now, and we're actually launching a couple more. So the 3 shapes that are available now, both on, if you're in Canada, on SwitchGrocery.com, and then if you're in the US on KaizenFoodCompany.com. If you prefer the world of Amazon, it's both on Amazon.com and Amazon.ca. So you can kind of find them on either site there. So our original pasta, it's 6 net carbs, 20 grams of protein, and it's gluten-free. We actually got our gluten-free certification last week, so we're going to have to update some of our packaging. But it's gluten-free, it's low carb, it's high protein, and it comes in fusilli, radiatori, and ziti. We've got an even fewer carbs line as well. This has 2 net carbs and 19 grams of protein. And perfect. Look at this. We should have done this from the beginning. And then you get to see me twice, I guess. That's so that was our lower carb line. And then our even fewer carb line, we've got 2 shapes right now. This has only, like I mentioned, 2 net carbs a serving, 19 grams of protein. It comes in fusilli and ziti.
Yeah.
And then we launched rice about a month ago, about 6 weeks ago now. And this is just available right now in the regular, original flavor version. We're working on some other flavors as well, but for now it's just in a regular rice version. This is 20 grams of protein, 6 net carbs. And I'm sorry?
Insane.
Yeah. For me, rice, I love pasta, but rice is so special to me and so personal to me. And I wanted to make sure that we had this offering as well. We've got a couple shapes coming, and then, we just launched our lupin flour in the US on Amazon first, and then we'll have it on our site soon. And we've got a couple other shapes coming as well. And then later this year, we have a couple of really exciting products in the pipeline that we're excited to launch.
I love that. And for Switch, I think you're pretty much on our top trending brands.
Amazing.
You're also in our protein collection. So I'm really sorry, guys, but we are actually sold out of the rice. Arash, is it on the way?
Yeah, it's on the way. Yeah.
Okay.
But do you do pre-orders, or can they sign up and kind of get notified?
Yes.
Or
they can sign up and get notified. So there's an email.
You just go to SwitchGrocery and you just and it goes quick, guys. So I think your last order was like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
I know. We're trying really hard to keep more in stock, slowly building up. So that is the plan. And right now we created a code. We've not done this, at least on Switch. It's Shred Happens. So big S, Shred Happens. And you get 20% off KaizenFoodCompany.com and SwitchGrocery.com in Canada. So this is huge. And I'll show you the shapes because I think it's really close to real pasta. Like this is I'm like the lighting. Ooh, there you go. That you can see it. That's the fusilli.
That's our fusilli.
And in terms of cooking tips, maybe we can talk about how would you cook it as the ziti. Oh, it's so nice. Look, I'll hold up one. Like it's perfect. Perfection. Can you talk about your best cooking tips for each?
Yeah. So fusilli is, I'd say if you've thought about trying Kaizen, fusilli is a great start. Um, Cooks in 4 to 5 minutes in generously salted water. Now, there are some people that like it super soft, so you may want to go up to 6 or 7 minutes if that's you. Typically, I personally like it between 4 to 5 minutes. Right around the 5 minute mark is perfect. Ziti and radiatori take a couple more minutes, so I'd say try that at around like the 5 to 6 minute mark, and it should be a good kind of starting point for you to determine, hey, do you want to cook it for another 20 seconds, 30 seconds, minute or so? But start around the 4 or 5 minute mark for each shape. Salt is key. Salt helps bring out the flavor in pasta. So make sure the water is generously salted.
I didn't actually know that. So now I know, and I will keep that in mind. I want to go through some of the comments because they're so sweet. Amanda says this may sound corny, but after learning how hard it is to run food companies like this, I just want to say I'm proud of you both. So inspiring. And then we talked about Courtney wanting
And
to
I
try.
just want to say, Amanda and I just see Shalini on the screen too as well. They have both. It's hard to run a food company, but people like Amanda and Shalini, and there's others, but seeing how you guys support small businesses, it truly makes our day. And I just want to let both know how much I know. I certainly appreciate you, and I know Neha appreciates you as well.
I do. There's been times where I've been in a personal emergency and I see Shalini post something about Kaizen or one of our other Switch products, and I'm literally in tears because she may not know it, but it makes it has such
really
a huge
does.
impact on on us. And there was one comment that I want to get to. Oh, this was interesting because I like that Shalini's tried them all. So she was skeptical about the fewer carbs line, but was blown away. Arash, it's so good. Don't get me started on the rice, the taste, the texture.
I have to take a photo of this. I can't lose this comment.
Okay, do it, do it, because it's a good one.
That means the world. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, we worked really, really hard on the rice, and I'm so happy to hear that.
Okay, I'm gonna take a picture too. So let's smile. There. Shalini, that's going to go up right after. And Joanne McNeil says, I've been wanting to try this too. Amazing, Joanne. And hopefully you caught that.
I hope you get to try it.
And Tina says, can you just cook for me? She's from Tennessee. And Cheryl says, great to hear tips. I have some at home to try for the first time. I've been traveling for work this week. So that's one of my questions.
Thank you so much for ordering, Cheryl. I appreciate you. And yeah, 4 to 5 minutes to start. Adjust it depending on what you feel the first time, and it varies a little bit by shape too. But 4 to 5 minutes should be a perfect starting point.
So, question for you, which is if someone buys a box of this for the very first time, right? They get your rice or they get the pasta. What recipe would you tell them to make?
Well, I think what I personally prefer is a bolognese with super finely minced meat. I like to add a little pesto in there as well. But that's me, right? I just really like a meaty red sauce, but I think it might be different for people. So I'd say cook it with your favorite recipe, right? So for some people it might be pesto, for some people it might be a Alfredo, for some people it might be mac and cheese. So, make what you enjoy eating, and really try to determine whether or not it's like mimics the real thing for you. I think it does. So try to make what you enjoy. And then I think depending on the time of the year, right? So in the wintertime, I like to do a lot of baked dishes, like a baked ziti. In the summertime, depending on pool parties or barbecues or whatever it may be, you might want to do a pasta salad. So it just kind of depends on the mood, right?
I get it. I have to say the pasta salad, and Shalini says this too, the cold pasta salad. If you saw me being distracted, I have to share a screen and show this. This is these are your recipes, two recipes that went viral last summer. Okay. And I have made them twice, once for the show because I made them for the show that we had problems with Meta Facebook. If you're listening, Facebook, sometimes you have problems. And but we've put them on repeat because they're just the pasta, when you make it and you batch it in the fridge, it doesn't get soggy like other pastas. So I really love prepping it for salads. So I'll share my screen and show this. There's two salads I like. One is this low carb Mediterranean pasta
Oh, I love
salad.
that one.
It's so
Much.
good, Arash.
Yes, I truly this is probably in my top 5 across all of my recipes. I absolutely love this one. You know,
Yeah,
the dill and the chives is just incredible. The feta, it just goes so well
the
together.
feta, the
So
feta. You can't forget the feta.
you
And
cannot,
it's
yeah,
really easy, really,
yep,
really easy to make. So we loved it so much that Arash puts all his recipes in the caption at Shred Happens or
yeah,
Kaizen. We actually put it on our website because it was unbelievable. And
good,
Oscar from I Hack Diabetes, this is
yeah,
his favorite, the low carb spicy Italian pasta
yeah.
salad
Oh, I like this one too. Yes, yes,
for the summer. So
yeah.
I just wanted to
I
say
I also, if you're making a pasta salad, just make sure that you cool the pasta well. So once it boils, strain it, rinse it, with cold water to kind of stop the cooking. So
okay, that's a great tip because sometimes I
I'm
think I
so
keep
glad
it on
you.
the stove.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to stop the cooking to make sure it doesn't get mushy. So yeah,
Good.
yeah.
And we have this comment from Courtney. All of your recipes are incredible. I've tried many of them and have saved many more. My husband had a stroke 3 weeks
Mm.
ago, and we're now eating even more clean and low carb. You guys have convinced me. I'm ordering ASAP.
I hope he gets better, Courtney, and I so appreciate the opportunity to be an inspiration for you. So thank you.
Yeah, Courtney, I hope your husband feels better really soon. And please use Arash had shared a code. It's Shred Happens at kaizenfoodcompany.com or switchgrocery.com. So please use that code. And Joanne just said, Neha, where are you finding this recipe? So it's on Shred Happens, like on Instagram and Facebook, and we put it on switchgrocery.com under recipes. So if you Google low carb Mediterranean pasta Switch Grocery, it'll come up for you, or spicy Italian salad with Kaizen, it'll come up for you. Joanne, I stalk your page all the time, Arash, for all of your recipes. And then,
That's
Tina says, how do we order? I just hopped on. Go, Arash. You could go.
Yeah. So, Tina, if you're in the US, kaizenfoodcompany.com, code shred happens will save you 20%. If you prefer Amazon, we're on amazon.com. If you're in Canada, Neha owns Switch Grocery with her husband Brian. So, switchgrocery.com, and then we're also available on amazon.ca as well. So, really depends on where you are and your preference.
So I have a bonus question for you, which
Okay.
is, so you run Shred Happens on Instagram
Mhm.
and Facebook. That's keto recipes on TikTok.
Yes. I
And
gotta
then
switch back to shred happens, but for now it's keto recipes.
yes.
Yeah.
And then you're running a pasta and rice company here. So I wanted to ask you, what is something that you've learned from being a recipe creator, a content creator, that you take with you to Kaizen?
Mm.
And vice versa, what is something that you've learned from running a product company, Kaizen, and take that back to when you create a recipe and you get creative?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, you know, and this is probably the case for, everyone's got something going on, right? Like everyone, for me, the case is I run Kaizen, and I've got Shred Happens, and I try to stay on top of a lot of other things in my life, and this can vary by person depending on what they're doing. But I think, you know, it's easy to kind of feel overwhelmed, in terms of, what life throws at us, depending on our own circumstances, and this varies by person. But, and this is like a continuous battle for me. But it's just, you asked what I learned. It's, you know kind of breaking down large tasks and large goals and big ambitions into just the smallest possible, you know, milestone or goal or, action you possibly can. And it's those little things that add up over time. Kaizen stands for continuous improvement. That's where the name kind of originates from. It's a business philosophy. It's a philosophy that's been used in the business world for decades to kind of improve things little by little over time, right? So Kaizen is about, small changes, really drive big outcomes, big change over time. And it's that the little things really are the big things. And so I think for me, it's, when I feel overwhelmed, like a few days ago, I was overwhelmed and I just, I was like, I got to do this, 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 and this. And I wanted to shoot like 5 recipes. It's something as basic as this, right? And I said, okay, like, how do I just marinate the chicken, right? Like, just let me start on that, right? And just marinate the chicken. Forget about everything else. Focus on that. Then go to the next step, then go to the next step. If you want to lose, let's say 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever it may be, instead of focusing on the big thing, it's how do you just get one workout in, or how do you just crush this day, right? How do you just crush one day at a time or a week, and then it turns into a month and whatever it may be. So if you're learning a new skill, whatever it may be. So biggest learning is take the big thing and just bring it in, just small steps.
I wrote down everything you said just to look back on a hard day.
For you, it's recorded, so you're good.
It is recorded. And Courtney says that, thank you. My husband's only 51 years old. No risk factors. We have to be thankful for every day. Be careful what we eat. Thank you for making that easier with great recipes and low carb options. Wow. So thank you, Courtney. That's really, really nice. And my next question was, how do you take mental health breaks as an entrepreneur, as a founder, just someone who runs your own business? And I think the world is heavy right now, right? Every day we wake up, the world is heavy. And I would love to know how you kind of wake up and take care of your mental health.
Yeah, I wish I had a great answer for you on this. I've got to do a better job. But it's tough to not just constantly be working and focusing on the next thing and the next thing. And, I had a chance to actually travel a couple weeks ago for our anniversary. And, it took me like 3 days to kind of just like decompress, but even just getting a change of scenery really helped me. And I came back with, refreshed and like, I was thinking a different way. Right. Or when I, get a really good workout in, I'm like, gosh, like I should have done this like earlier on in the day, 'cause like I've got the best mental clarity. And so I think every time that I, make time for mental health breaks, to get physical, to focus on myself, it helps me perform better. And I wish I had a better answer for you in terms of, this is an area where I really need to build my muscle and discipline a lot better. I think to a certain extent, it's something that I've struggled with in different parts of my life in different ways. Right now, I think the thing that I really want to do best is, I think it's easy to prioritize things that we have to do every day, right? Or like for our jobs, or, if it's for our business. And I think really the way to do that, and one of the realizations that I've come is, you've got to prioritize it. You've got to schedule it, or just like, it's got to be one of the main priorities, or it's not going to happen. And so I think it's just putting that into practice and actually scheduling it is something that I'm really going to be focusing on.
I love that. And switching now to recipes, what advice would you have for people who may not feel motivated to get into the kitchen and cook? And I'm one of them. So many of our customers kind of talk about this, that, they love the recipes, they see the recipes, they see our products, but sometimes, Kaizen might be sitting in someone's pantry and they're not taking it out because, they just are not getting the inspiration. So can you talk about how you get inspiration to get into the kitchen and cook? And can you share that with our customers?
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think, you see all these recipes and things, and you kind of like put the creator or the, like on some sort of pedestal, right? And like, I'd say, actually in my content creation days, at the beginning of Shred Happens, for the first like 3 to 4 years, I was constantly trying to like, I was just creating recipes that may have not necessarily been me. And I think it wasn't until where I just started really just like making what I wanted to make that I think, I kind of fell in love with the process way more. So the first piece of advice that I would just give anybody is like what do you, I mean, there's a couple angles to this, but the first is like, what do you actually enjoy eating, right? So, try to make what you actually enjoy eating. The second thing is, it doesn't have to be like it could be just one meal a week, right? Or one meal a month, whatever it may be. Back to my original point around just taking small steps, right? Just focus on making one meal, one recipe. If you're somebody right now that, is ordering out a lot, or, like you've outsourced your food, that's okay, right? Just focus on making one meal, right? Just go shopping for the rest of the ingredients that you need for a meal, try it, see how it goes, make it again if you'd like the next week or the following week after that. And, maybe, after a time you do 2, you do 3, you do 4, whatever it may be, right? But just focus on what you can do. And it varies by person, right? I think when I was kind of deep in my weight loss journey, I have this all or nothing mentality where I, think that like I needed to make everything for the week, and I couldn't eat out once, and that's sometimes not practical, especially depending on your schedule. So you got to find what works for you. But I'd say just start small and try to make gradual changes.
I love that. And I will say one of the ways that I applied that just this past weekend was our kitchen is a mess and we're in the middle of construction. And so we've been ordering out a lot. We have prepared meals right now that are coming to help our family. But we were actually going to a friend's house and they were making Greek food. And I went to your page and I just got inspired from you are in love with feta, apparently.
I am.
You love feta. So I didn't follow any of your recipes, but I just took cucumber, things that I've seen, cucumbers, tomatoes, dill, olive oil. And then I actually made a pasta salad.
Delicious.
And I was really proud of myself because the feta, I actually took it. So sometimes I watch your stories and you have great presentation, Arash. So I took the feta and put it on top of the salad. And when I got to my friend's place, they said, this is such a massive salad. Like nobody, like we're not going to finish this because there were 2 with 2 kids and then there were 3 of us. And it was almost gone. Like I just want to say it was almost gone. And then I also just added protein, right? Just easy protein. The kids ate it. And it was such a small thing that I did for myself in the middle of this house construction. But I just want to say, I just love that idea of small steps. And it's easy. All of your salads are banging.
I'm glad to hear that, Samantha.
Thanks, Samantha. Teresa said she would love a focus on Asian. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, sorry, let's read Teresa's. Really enjoy you. I'm so glad to hear Teresa. And I'd love a focus on Asian too, since I love. Yes. I definitely do want to do more there.
Yeah.
I love Asian flavors. I mean, one salad that I actually really want to make, it's an Indonesian sauce, gado gado. I don't know if you've ever had it. It is incredible. I've got to put it on the list and get that going. It's really good. Back to Samantha's comment, the salad wouldn't be on the page if it wasn't banging. So it has to be banging.
For sure. I don't know what this is.
You don't know what tahdig is?
No.
Okay. So I may need to come up to, we've got to go to Toronto.
Okay.
You and Brian get a babysitter. We're going to go to a Persian restaurant. This is the bottom crispy part of the rice. You've never had tahdig?
I don't think so.
Okay, Shalene, I'm going to give you a pointer on this. I'm trying to make a Kaizen rice tahdig, so I'm going to try that. It's not the real thing, but I'm going to try it. But we're going to have to get Neha and Brian to try the authentic tahdig. It's like the crispy bottom part of the rice pot, and it's oily, it's crispy, it's full of carbs. It's definitely a delicacy you've got to try.
It sounds amazing. I think I've had it in terms of like, because I'm half South Indian and half North Indian, which is completely different cuisines and completely different lifestyle and everything. But I've had like crispy rice that's stuck at the bottom, but probably not obviously what you're talking about. Okay. Wonderful comment from Linda.
Let's see. I love your food and presentation. It makes me want to do better. My choice is trying new things. My job is done.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's the best I can ask for.
Yes. And you have another request, which is a keto version
Keto
of a
version.
Thai noodle salad.
Okay, all right. So we're in the Asian. I got to step it up in the Asian space then. But yeah, Thai noodle salad, amazing. Love that.
Ooh, Mexican twist would be awesome.
Absolutely. Speaking of Mexican twists, I have a recipe for this somewhere, but if you're traveling to Mexico, or if you've got a, international market near you or Hispanic market, you've got to try salsa macha. I don't know if you've tried it, Neha, but it is one of my favorite condiments. It is so flavorful, so spicy. It's so good. It's salsa macha, Macha. One
Can't
of
believe
the
it.
best things I tried last year. So again, if you've got a local spot near you, I highly, highly recommend it.
I think I've had it,
Yeah.
but this is whenever I go to any southern
Truly,
state.
yeah.
It looks so good.
It's phenomenal, and it's
It
really
looks
good.
it looks
I think
amazing.
last year I probably went through a gallon. Solid choice.
You're really big on condiments. I've noticed that.
Huge on sauces and condiments. Yes,
You're we have a collection called sauces and condiments, and we need to put more in there. So I might pick your brain on what we put in
absolutely.
there. Um, you have millions of recipes. We're approaching the end of the
Oh,
interview because we're actually past 30 minutes. So if
yeah.
anybody has any questions, you can throw them in the chat for Arash, and I'll try to get to them. I have two more questions. One is just that like, okay, let me restart. You have millions of views on your recipes.
Hmm.
Your accounts have like pretty much hundreds and thousands of followers. Shred Happens, Keto Recipes on TikTok. And you're one of the most humble, down to earth, committed people I've met.
No, that's very nice of you.
How do you stay that way? How do you stay grounded?
Yeah, good question. Um, uh, I, I don't know. I mean, I don't see as views and followers kind of like dictating, uh, how I act in a way. I think, I'm truly grateful for everybody in the community and everybody that takes time. I mean, it's still a surreal experience for me to, be able to have the impact that I have. I get messages every day from all around the world where, I tried this, I loved it. I tried this, I loved it. On the pasta side, this is probably one of my most, it's so rewarding. When I get messages from parents with like, kids with epilepsy or with diabetes, or they'll like share a photo of their child enjoying Kaizen and with their like blood glucose monitor, and like, hey, it was stable. He was able to enjoy pasta with the family. Like, that's just an incredible feeling. And so, I kind of live for those moments. It gives me a ton of energy. And, you know, having the ability, it hasn't really sunk in for me, if I'm being truly honest, because not long ago I was on the outside looking in and kind of looking at other creators and admiring them, and I still do in many respects, right? But admiring them and like binge watching their YouTube videos at night, and now I kind of have, a similar audience, and it just hasn't caught up to me yet. I don't know if I can explain that a little bit better, but um, it's incredibly humbling.
Thank you. I wanted to ask that because you really are a very humble person. And I know
So,
that from working with you. So
thank you.
we have an interesting question from PJ, which I'm sure you have. Where else can we see
Yeah,
your recipes? The reels are too quick for me to note them down. Thank you.
sure. Yeah. So I think, PJ, thanks for this question. So as a matter of policy, I put so there's a voiceover with a caption on every video, but the recipe, if you're on Facebook, it's in the comment section of every video, the full recipe. You can screenshot that if that's easier for you. On Instagram, it's in the caption. You can screenshot that. And then I have an ebook, which you don't need to purchase, but if you prefer that, you're more than welcome to purchase that on shredhappens.net. And then I'm working on kind of creating more of like a blog style website where you can reference all of my recipes. So, I think that's going to take a couple more months, but for the time being, all of my recipes are in the comment section of Facebook or in the caption on Instagram.
That's very helpful. And Linda has a question, totally different note. They say imitation is the highest form of flattery, but I do get mad for you when I see other pages steal your videos. Does it bug you as much as it does for you?
Got to be honest, yeah, it certainly does, and it does primarily because there's certain accounts that just kind of take everything like every day, and they're just like and sometimes they just imitate me and like post as if like, hi, I'm Arash, and like they just kind of have this personality going. So in those instances it does, but there's also a lot of aggregator accounts that just take videos from a whole bunch of different creators. So in those instances I don't think it really bothers me as much, but the pages that act like me and then link to some sort of book or product that just looks like it's from the 1980s, those typically bother me most.
I didn't even know that was happening to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think it happens for a lot of creators. I think there's like affiliate programs with books or certain products, and I think people go on, and it's probably the case on Pinterest and Snap and other platforms too, but there's affiliates that go and post content and link to their own product, whatever it may be. It's generally a book of some sorts.
Yeah. And Amanda said it's happened to her as well, and Monique said that that's petty and there's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah,
sometimes
some of these accounts have a lot of followers. I mean, there's certainly a lot of them, but some of them do pretty well. So
yeah, and I also wanted to say that, Monique, so for me, even for someone that runs a smaller online grocery store in Canada, definitely it's hard because copying something, it's also you're putting a lot of time in it and you're putting your energy, which is basically if you had a job, that's your livelihood. So I think it does matter to creators. And I have this.
I will say, Facebook. I haven't really taken the time on Instagram or Pinterest, but Facebook. And I have a lot of people who message me, and I'm really grateful. But Facebook's really good about removing the content, right away. I've 100% of the time, if I've mentioned something, they've removed or deleted the account even altogether. So I do give them credit for that.
Okay. Meta, we love you. Just had to say that. But yes, Monique, as you said, I think sometimes you can move on quickly and other times you got to take care of it. So it's kind of both. Amanda asks, what recipe should I make with Kaizen next?
Well, I think Amanda's probably made everything. But I was just going to my Instagram.
Tell us.
This recipe that I posted like 2-3 days ago. Hold on.
There it is.
This one. And it was 5 days. So June 1st, you've got to try this one. It's got sun-dried tomatoes, mushrooms, basil. It's a little spicy. It's absolutely it's one of my favorite ones. And then this is a little bit further back, but this spicy one with burrata on top, I absolutely love as well. It was posted on January 11th. It's 15 minutes. It's so good. So one of those two.
Done. I will link those later in the comments.
Yeah, you should add them to your site. You've got some other recipes, so
I will.
Salad dressing. I would love to. I'm gonna have to get some inspiration from you, Neha. What do you think?
Okay, Swathi, I'll send Arash some thoughts.
Please.
Because I think with even in there's Indian salads, or Swathi, maybe you can put them in the comments, but it's always just tomatoes, cucumbers. I don't remember, because I had them probably as a kid with my grandmother or my dad making them. I don't remember a lot of Indian salads, which is why I need Swathi's help. So please message me, Swathi, or message Arash, because if you send me a message to contact@switchgrocery.com, I will forward all of that and make sure Arash sees
Please
it.
do.
because I want it. I think there's a lot of coriander, Arash, if you're familiar with coriander
Love
in
coriander.
dressings. I think you'd be familiar with everything. Okay,
Yeah.
I think I'm just checking if there's any more questions. Oh, yeah. Amanda said we work hard on our creativity and making those videos, so it does hurt when someone just steals it and doesn't put in the work themselves.
Agreed.
We had a question from Shalini during the Instagram live, and I just want to make sure I bring that up. It was, would you ever come out with your own spices? Why did she ask that? I don't know. Is there a reason, Shalini?
You're good. I'm out. Yeah. So it's in the works. Those are, I've just been so, I haven't been, but yes, there's, let me show you guys part of the reason why no, it's still like super early stages. We need the,
send me a Ziploc.
This is going to be the best za'atar and so it's za'atar, sumac, Aleppo pepper. It's we got some good stuff coming.
Look, Shalini's just giving you the side eye.
But for me, it was this za'atar is you've never had. It's just incredible. So we got za'atar, we've got sumac, Aleppo pepper, a couple other spices as well. So
I'm going to send you a message after this about this because I'm super excited. Okay. Well, that brings me to the end and my bonus question, which is,
Didn't you have a bonus question like seven questions ago?
This is my bonus. I had bonus question.
Your bonus question.
But this was so nice because I like this. It's a permanent, interview. It's going to be on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook, and we're going to break it up and put it up out on Instagram Reels. So this was really important to me because I think that I think everyone sees your recipes, but this at least gives people a chance to see what your suppliers and your vendors and people who work with you closely get to see. What is your message for Canadians? And can you share if you actually have a Canadian passport?
I do. I am a Canadian citizen as well. So my family immigrated from Iran to Halifax, Nova Scotia in 1997. So I lived there long enough to become a Canadian citizen. And I was mentioning to you earlier, Canada feels almost like home to me. I should visit it more often. My brother lives in Toronto, actually. I don't know if I had told you that. And my sister lived in Ottawa for quite a bit of time before moving to the States. So love Canada, miss it dearly. And one of my high on my bucket list is to visit, to do like a Maritimes trip, drive through Halifax, Peggy's Cove. I don't know have you been to Peggy's Cove?
I have not. It is on my bucket list.
Yeah. Peggy's Cove. And then Prince Edward Island. I remember going there growing up. It was stunning. And then, Quebec City's on the list. BC's on the list. Certainly Toronto's on the list. So I've got to come back.
Yes, please come visit your brother, and then Brian and I would love to take you out for dinner.
Well, I have to take you out to Tahdig apparently.
To a Persian restaurant. You'll pick the restaurant, and we'll pick up the bill. There's the deal.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
There's the deal. I love your recipes, and you're quite handsome too. From Elizabeth.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that.
That's a really good one. Okay, so let's summarize. How can people find you? How can people order Kaizen? We'd love to know.
Sure. So Shred Happens on Facebook and Instagram. If you'd like to order the pasta, if you're dialing in from or visiting from Canada or tuning in from Canada, it's on SwitchGrocery.com. It's also on Amazon.ca. If you are in the US, it's on Amazon.com and KaizenFoodCompany.com. So if you choose to order it on KaizenFoodCompany.com, code is Shred Happens, saves you 20%. And if you've already tried it, I would love if you were kind enough to leave a review anywhere you purchased it. It would really mean the world to me. Leave an honest review. If you took a photo, put the photo in your review. It really makes all the difference.
I can't tell you how much reviews make a difference, you guys, because it really, that's what drives everybody to try it. So from someone who's already tried it. And I just want to shout out Lisa Deline. Lisa is a longtime customer for Switch and is always here on Tuesday nights. And she's been silent tonight. And she always at the end says, thank you guys, great interview tonight. Lisa, we love you. We're supposed to send you a SwitchGrocery t-shirt, and it's still on my list. It really is.
If Lisa hasn't tried Kaizen, can you also include a Kaizen, some Kaizen pasta on my behalf?
I will.
It's on
Lisa,
me.
I will do that.
We'll settle that up.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Arash.
I offer spices, but we don't have spices yet.
Send me a Ziploc. Just ship it across. Betsy asked, where do you want us to post a review? So great question.
Wherever you bought it. I mean, thank you, Betsy. That means a ton. So if you purchased it on Amazon, would love for you to purchase or to leave the review on Amazon. That to me is, the best way to get noticed. If you purchased it in Canada, let's say on SwitchGrocery, then certainly on SwitchGrocery.
And I think on Amazon, you don't need to be a verified purchaser to.
I didn't know that.
I think you can just go and leave a review. So if you bought it from Switch, you can still go to Amazon Canada and leave a review.
Amazing. Oh, then I would love that.
Which is great. And Shalini says, thank you, Neha and Arash, for making this live happen. Third time. And we have, I think this is Karen. Love the product I bought from Switch. It's a game changer for me on my keto journey.
That means so much to me. Thank you so much for your support.
And do you want to read this one?
Sure. Hi from one of your biggest fans. Thanks to you, I need a larger spice rack. The new recipes of spices have been amazing. I use the Kaizen now ordered the flour. Amazing. I so appreciate you. And I missed the name.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It's Argia.
Thank you. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you. I remember Argia, actually. She sent me the sweetest note. So I really appreciate you, Argia. I'm so glad you tuned in.
I just love the larger spice rack. She's like, okay, I'm just going to buy it. When you come out with it, let me know, and I'm ready. Just love that. And Melissa says, hello from, where's that?
Amazing.
Hello from
Pennsylvania, in the U.S.
Man,
Hi, Melissa.
I call Pennsylvania Pa, so.
That's okay. I love your recipes and pasta. Looking forward to trying the rice. Please keep going and posting. That means a ton to me. Thank you so much, Melissa. Thanks for your support.
I have to say, I love these comments. I love to watch you eat. Rosika and Lisa says, OMG, thank you so much. So Lisa, I'll set an order for you. Lori Olson says, great show. Good night, all.
Thanks for tuning in, Lori.
Lori, we love you. I love you.
Denmark. It's late in Denmark, no? Thank you so much, Nora.
Eating healthy. Guys, thank you and delicious. Appreciate you. Thank you for your time.
And thanks to everybody for tuning in.